All right, so today we're gonna dive into the world of Fernanda Torres.
Okay.
She's this incredible Brazilian actress, Oscar nominee, and just all around fascinating person. But
Yeah.
I think what I find most interesting is how she's chosen this path of like artistic depth
Right.
over, chasing Hollywood fame.
Yeah.
It's like she's built this incredible career completely on her own terms.
And a lot of that comes from her upbringing. I think, we're talking about a childhood absolutely steeped in art,
Oh, yeah.
where dinner conversations were practically rehearsals.
Right. Her mom was this famous actress. And so their house was this hub of creativity, like scripts and characters just swirling around. I read somewhere that their dining table was basically stage.
Absolutely.
What was it like for young Fernanda to grow up in that kind of environment?
Well, it's almost like acting wasn't just a profession in her family. It was like the family business, instead of inheriting a bakery.
Right.
She inherited this legacy of storytelling.
Okay.
And everybody around her wanted to be an actor, so it was just the air she breathed.
That's so different from, most kids who dream of being astronauts or firefighters.
Yeah.
For Fernanda, acting was simply part of life.
Uh-huh.
It makes me wonder how that shaped her perspective, especially growing up in Rio de Janeiro
Oh, yeah.
during such a turbulent time.
Rio, it's more than just a backdrop in her story. It's a character in itself. We're talking about the 70s and 80s, a time when Brazil was under a dictatorship.
Wow.
But Rio was also this incredible melting pot of art and culture.
So you have this incredible creative energy, but also this underlying tension,
Right.
this awareness of the political situation. I imagine that had a profound impact on the art
Absolutely.
being created at the time.
And it wasn't just about entertainment either.
Really?
Art became a form of resistance.
Wow.
Think about it. The dictatorship was trying to control the narrative, but artists like Fernanda's mother found ways to push back,
Right.
to spark conversations, and to challenge the status quo. You know about the play Rota Viva?
I don't actually.
Well, it was this incredibly powerful piece of theater
Okay.
that Fernanda's mother starred in, and it was so controversial it was actually shut down by the government.
What?
They literally stormed the stage
Wow.
and shut it down.
That's intense.
Can you imagine the impact that had on a young Fernanda, seeing art used as this tool for social change?
Yeah, it really highlights how art can be so much more than just entertainment. It could be a voice for the voiceless, a way to challenge oppression, and just a catalyst for change. It makes me think about Fernanda's own work later on and how she often chose roles that explored these complex social issues. Like she inherited this legacy of using art to make a difference.
And that brings us to Fernanda's breakout role in Pixote, A Lego Mais Fraco, a film that really shook things up.
Oh, I've heard of that film. It was this gritty, realistic portrayal of street children in Brazil, right?
Yes, very controversial at the time.
It must have been.
It was.
Wow.
And for Fernanda, who was still very young, to take on such a challenging role, it really showed her commitment to telling stories that mattered. And that commitment really shines throughout her career, even after she achieved international recognition with her Oscar nomination.
Yeah, that Oscar nomination is a big deal.
Huge.
Not just for her, but for Brazilian cinema as a whole.
Absolutely.
Do you remember how she reacted to getting nominated?
She actually described it as a surreal experience, almost like the Oscars were this distant world for a Brazilian actor.
Yeah.
But even with that global recognition, she chose to stay in Brazil to keep telling Brazilian stories.
That's remarkable. It would have been so easy to get swept up in the Hollywood machine.
Right.
But she prioritized staying true to her roots.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder what success really means. Is it about fame and fortune? Or is it about something deeper, something more meaningful?
That's a great question, and it's one that Fernanda's career really makes us think about. Yeah, it really makes you think what drives an artist, right? For Fernanda, it seems like it was never about chasing the spotlight, but about using her platform to give voice to stories that resonated with her on a deeper level.
It's funny because when we talk about, staying true to your roots, it can sound kind of cliche.
Yeah.
But with Fernanda, it's not just a saying, it's like woven into the fabric of her career.
Right.
She could have easily gone the Hollywood route.
Oh, yeah.
But instead, she doubled down on telling Brazilian stories, on exploring the complexities of her own culture.
And that's what makes her work so compelling.
Yeah.
It's this unique blend of personal experience, social commentary, and artistic expression.
Right.
She doesn't shy away from difficult topics,
Right.
from exploring the realities of life in Brazil, both the beautiful and the challenging.
It's like she's holding up a mirror to society,
Yeah.
inviting us to look closely, to think critically, and to engage with the world around us. And she does it with such a sharp wit and intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
Her performances are captivating.
Absolutely.
But they also make you think, they stay with you long after the credits roll.
And that's the mark of a true artist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone who can provoke thought, spark conversation, and leave a lasting impression.
Right.
It's not just about entertainment.
Right.
It's about engaging with the world on a deeper level.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is that even though she achieved success in film and television, she never abandoned her first love, theater.
Oh, that's right.
There's something about the immediacy of live performance,
Yeah.
that connection with the audience that just kept drawing her back.
It's like this raw energy, this vulnerability that you can't replicate on screen.
Right.
And for Fernanda, who's always been drawn to complex, multi-layered characters,
Right.
the stage provided this incredible space to explore the depths of human emotion.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that she described theater as her oxygen.
Wow. That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And it speaks to her passion, her dedication to the craft. She wasn't just going through the motions,
Right.
She was fully immersed in the art of storytelling, whether it was on stage or screen.
And that brings us to her foray into writing. It's like she had this insatiable curiosity, this desire to explore different forms of creative expression.
Right. It wasn't enough to just act.
Yeah.
She wanted to create, to craft her own narratives, to delve into the world of words.
Yeah.
And she did it with such flair,
Oh, yeah.
Her writing is sharp, witty, and incredibly insightful.
It's almost like she has this uncanny ability to capture the essence of human nature,
Right.
to find humor in the everyday, and to illuminate the profound in the mundane. Her writing is a joy to read,
Yeah.
both thought-provoking and entertaining.
It's like she's saying, hey, there's more to life than meets the eye.
Right.
Let's dig a little deeper.
Right, exactly. And that's what makes Fernanda Torres such a compelling figure. She's not just an actress.
Right.
She's a writer, think of an observer of the human condition. And she's not afraid to challenge us,
Yeah.
to make us uncomfortable,
Right.
to make us question our assumptions.
She's a true force of nature, isn't she?
She is. And her career is a testament to the power of following your passion, of exploring your creativity,
Right.
and of staying true to your own unique voice.
As we're talking about Fernanda's multifaceted career, her journey from actress to writer, I can't help but think about the choices we make in our own lives.
Right.
How do we balance our passions with the demands of the world? How do we find our own voice and make it heard?
Yeah.
These are big questions.
Yeah.
But I think Fernanda's story offers some valuable insight.
I agree. It's a reminder that we don't have to fit into a neat little box.
Right.
We can be complex, multifaceted individuals.
Yeah.
And we can pursue our passions in ways that feel authentic to us.
That's such an important message, especially in a world that often tries to put us in categories.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that makes Fernanda's story so inspiring is that she never compromised her values or her vision.
Right.
She stayed true to herself. And in doing so, she created a body of work that is both deeply personal and universally resonant.
That's a powerful legacy to leave behind.
It is.
And it makes me wonder, what does Fernanda Torres' story mean to you? What resonates with you most about her journey? And what lessons could we draw from her approach to art and life?
Yeah, it's interesting how, her decision to stay in Brazil instead of going to Hollywood, could be seen as a way of focusing her energy.
Yeah.
It's like by choosing to stay rooted,
Right.
she tapped into this wellspring of authenticity that resonated not just locally, but like internationally as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most universal stories are those that are deeply narcissical and specific.
It's almost a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more grounded a story is in a particular place and culture, the more it can speak to those shared human experiences.
Precisely. And Fernanda's work often explores themes of family identity, social change,
Right.
themes that transcend borders and connect with audiences on a much deeper level.
And it's not just about the themes, but also the perspectives that she brings to the table.
Right.
By choosing to tell stories from a Brazilian point of view,
Right.
she offers this fresh and often overlooked perspective.
It's like adding a new voice to the global conversation, right?
Right.
In reaching to the world of cinema with narratives that might have otherwise gone untold.
So in a way, by staying true to her roots, she actually broadened her reach and her impact.
Absolutely. She became a cultural ambassador, showcasing the richness and the complexity of Brazilian culture through her work.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful way to connect with the world is to first connect deeply with your own place and your own story.
Yeah. You know, as we wrap up this deep dive into Fernanda Torres, I keep coming back to her incredible versatility. We've talked about her acting career, her commitment to telling Brazilian stories, her choice to stay rooted in her own culture. But we also have to acknowledge her talent as a writer.
Right, it's like she had this creative energy that just couldn't be contained, you know?
Right.
She explored different mediums, different forms of storytelling, but always with this sharp intelligence and wit that shines through in everything she does.
Her writing is just as captivating as her acting.
Right.
She has this way of observing the world, finding the humor in the everyday, the absurdity in the mundane, and then weaving it all together into these insightful, thought-provoking narratives.
I remember reading one of her essays, and it was like she was having a conversation with me, you know, challenging my assumptions, making me laugh, and leaving me with this feeling of, wow, I need to think about this some more.
Right.
She has that gift.
She does, and I think that's ultimately what makes Fernanda Torres such an inspiring figure.
Yeah.
She's a reminder that we can be complex, multifaceted individuals. We can be passionate about our work, about our culture, about making a difference in the world, and we can do it all with a sense of humor and grace.
That's a beautiful way to sum it up. So for our listeners out there, if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking out Fernanda Torres' work.
Yeah.
Whether it's her film, her plays, or her writing, you're in for a treat.
You really are.
And beyond the entertainment value, there's so much to learn from her journey, her choices, her commitment to her craft. It's a reminder that success isn't just about fame or fortune. It's about finding your voice, staying true to yourself, and making a meaningful contribution to the world.
Well said.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure exploring the world of Fernanda Torres with you.
It's been my pleasure as well.
And to our listeners, we hope this conversation has sparked your curiosity, inspired you to explore new ideas, and maybe even challenged you to think a little differently about the world around us. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.